Highly toxic and carcinogenic. Asbestos is reportedly in a downtown federal building. Now there are questions around exposure and what may be hidden in the walls of other government offices as workers prepare to be there more often. Good afternoon. This is CTV News at 5. I'm Stefan. There are calls to ensure a safe workspace in federal buildings as a worker blows the whistle on a known cancer-causing agent that has apparently been discovered at a downtown Ottawa office. The DND building near the Rideau Centre is said to contain asbestos, and it now has workers and unions questioning the risk as more employees get ready to head back. CTV's Dylan Dyson joins us live with more details. Dylan.
Yes, Stefan, it was certainly a startling sight for workers at the National Defence headquarters in downtown Ottawa when they came into work and saw many water fountains have been covered up with warnings of asbestos. This photo obtained by CTV News shows a water fountain inside the National Defence headquarters building covered by plastic sheets with a warning sign for asbestos. A source employed at the building said multiple water fountains on different floors were blocked off, with others advising employees to use bottled water instead. Asbestos was used in building materials before 1990 and has since been banned in Canada for causing cancer and lung diseases. Health Canada says there are no significant health risks if materials containing asbestos are left undisturbed, sealed behind walls and floorboards, or tightly bound in products that are in good condition. But the unions representing employees in the DND headquarters building say removing it entirely will take years, meaning staff will have to work alongside it, creating even more concern as remodeling takes place for more workers to return to the office.
I think that with bringing more people back to the office and having to repair, you are creating an increased hazard. Absolutely. It needs to be mitigated properly. And people need to know that they're safe before taking residency in an office space.
CTV News reached out to DND for comment on the asbestos situation, but did not receive a response. The Union for National Defence Employees says the workplace can remain safe for workers to be present if the exposed area is properly sealed off, something that the union has been working with the federal government on over the past couple of months since it was made aware of the issue becoming more prevalent. Stefan.
All right, CTV's Dylan Dyson live with the latest. Thank you for this, Dylan. And this news on asbestos comes just as another federal department announces a 4-day mandatory return for its workers. Public servants at the Canada Revenue Agency are being told to prepare to spend more time in the office this summer. But here's the kicker, that's only if there's enough room. The agency says it will follow the Treasury Board of Canada Secretariat Directive and mandate 4 days a week in the office beginning in July. The union representing CRA employees said the mandate will only apply to workers where the CRA actually has enough office space to accommodate them. The union says at least 1/3 of CRA buildings won't have enough space to make that work.
Right now, people are just furious because they're being forced to go to the office and in bad working conditions sometimes. It's not proper for their work. A lot of people have a hard time to concentrate because as it is right now, even at 3 days a week, in a lot of places, they're like squeezing people closer together.
The Canada Revenue Agency is the largest federal department with more than 52,000 employees. CTV News Ottawa reached out to the CRA for a comment, but we have not yet heard back. In the meantime, federal officials are raising concerns about the ability of Ottawa's transit system to handle an influx of passengers. The Canadian Press reports the clerk of the Privy Council met with Mayor Mark Sutcliffe in February to discuss the city's readiness to support an increased on-site presence of public servants. A memo said Public Services and Procurement Canada proactively engaged with the city because of concerns over bus and O-train reliability. It added federal officials are meeting with city and OC Transpo staff on a regular basis to coordinate and plan. In other news, Ontario's police watchdog is investigating a fatal fall from an apartment building in Ottawa's Hetherington neighborhood yesterday afternoon. The province's Special Investigations Unit says Ottawa police were called to a building on Hetherington Road near Albion Road North around 4 p.m. yesterday. A woman was hanging from a balcony. The SIU says officers tried to talk to the woman, but a short time later, she fell. The 37-year-old woman was pronounced dead in hospital. She has not been identified. Ontario Provincial Police issued dozens of tickets in Ottawa on Wednesday in a traffic blitz targeting distracted drivers. OPP charged 23 drivers for using their cell phones behind the wheel. One was driving while using a laptop. Officers laid a total of 56 charges, including 2 child seatbelt violations, 1 for stunt driving and 5 for driving without insurance. Well, a local tech company is getting a major boost today. Ross Video is expanding its regional operations with a multi-million-dollar investment backed by the province. CTV's Tyler Fleming joins us with the details. Tyler.
Yeah, Stefan, Ross Video is investing $122 million into its operations in Ottawa and Iroquois. $6 million of that will be from provincial funding.
It's a good example of something larger. What can happen when Ontario companies keep investing, keep innovating, and keep building technology here that competes successfully around the world?
Ross Video is a global leader in broadcasting. Its video systems and software used for everything from Taylor Swift concerts to Super Bowls and newsrooms too. Company CEO David Ross says the investment will help create new AI-enabled technology along with 125 jobs and expand manufacturing. The provincial contribution is through the Invest Ontario Fund.
Ontario must and will continue to position itself at the forefront of industries that are defining the future.
And they're committed to this region. We really appreciate that. They're investing in our city. They're creating jobs.
We've been giving back into the community for years and years and creating jobs for many, many years. It's just wonderful having this cooperation with the government to continue to see that happen. Many of our people...
Ross, formed in 1974, is now made up of 23 different companies and has more than 1,300 employees around the world. It also serves more than 10,000 customers in 120 countries. And with today's investment announcement, I'm sure that number will grow. Stefan.
I'm sure it will indeed. Thank you, Tyler. Ottawa drivers may want to wait until tomorrow to fill up the gas tank. Canadians for Affordable Energy President Dan McTagg is predicting that gas prices will fall by 9 cents a litre overnight. That would bring prices down to roughly $1.82 at stations in Ottawa. McTagg is also forecasting a 9-cent drop in the price of diesel tomorrow after it rose roughly 4 cents today. As Ottawa race weekend approaches, one local man's story is defined by survival and the chance to give back. 5 years ago, 32-year-old Olivier Duhaime started to feel unwell. He was a competitive endurance athlete and new dad to an 8-month-old daughter. A scan revealed 3 tumors, 2 along his spine and 1 near his heart. He had stage 4 cancer. He turned to the Ottawa hospital, receiving a high-risk treatment, 6 days of 8-hour chemotherapy, and in 2023, he had a bone marrow transplant.
So I just opened the TV on the Sunday morning, and it's the Ottawa Marathon I was playing, and it caught me like almost, I think I cried at the moment because I've done that race so many times, and at that time, you know, you're so low in your life, but I was like, all right, I'll be back in that marathon that I've loved so much.
Nearly 3 years to the day since his bone marrow transplant, Olivier will be running the marathon at Ottawa Race Weekend, fundraising for the Ottawa Hospital. It was not the outcome the Ottawa Charge had hoped for, defeated on home ice last night as Montreal took the Walter Cup victory.
What a game to seal it! Victoire! Montreal has won their first Walter Cup.
The Montreal Victoire beat the Charge 4-0 for the championship title at the Canadian Tire Centre last night. The team won the series in 4 games. Victoire captain Marie-Philippe Poulin was named the playoff MVP. Charge fans were still proud of the team's season, though, as they left the arena last night.
It's so awful. I thought, like, for Carla, we were going to get it. We didn't. Maybe next year?
They worked hard, and then we got overrun in the last little bit. But the fans were great. They made such a good push.
The Victoire are the first Canadian team to be crowned PWHL champions. The Charge will have more competition in the 2026-2027 season. The league is doubling in size from the original 6 teams and expanding to 12. Coming up on CTV News at 5, an Ottawa councillor wants the city to crack down on noisy vehicles. That's going to happen with a pilot project that would involve sound camera technology. And our Jackie Pears is here with our first look at the forecast. Jackie.
Well, thanks so much, Stefan. Bit of a chilly day today, but the winds much calmer than what we saw yesterday. Clear skies, though, will continue into tomorrow. Right now, temperatures sitting around 13, 14 degrees. Again, lots of sunshine that will carry us into tomorrow. We do have a frost advisory in effect now for the Ottawa area. It has lingered from yesterday, and yes, temperatures are going to be near or below the freezing mark. Overnight here in Ottawa, 0 with a risk of patchy frost, and tomorrow's a daytime high, 19 degrees and sunshine. Get ready, though. Rain is on the way for the weekend. We'll have those details for you in just a bit.
Thank you, Jackie. Here's what you need to know. Watch the Ottawa Rapid FC in action this weekend at TD Place Stadium. The team takes on Roses de Montreal FC. Game time is 1 p.m. Tickets are available on the team's website. Now for a live check on traffic. The 417 westbound is slow from Bronson to Pinecrest. Eastbound is slow going from Bayshore to Woodruff, also between Lees and Ennis. The 174 eastbound is heavy from the split to Montreal Road, and you can see that corridor at Pinecrest is slow going in both directions at this time. Our popular Team of the Week segment is back. If you want to be a part of our Myers Automotive Group Team of the Week, upload your video to ctvnewsottawa.ca. An Ottawa councillor is calling on the city to launch a sound camera pilot project. The program would use cameras with microphones to capture vehicle noise above the legal threshold. If a sound is too loud, the camera would capture the license plate. It would then be up to police to review and decide on issuing a ticket by mail. Today's radio question of the day is asking, should the City of Ottawa adopt sound cameras?
I would very much like to see us enter into a pilot, much like what they're proposing in Toronto. In fact, I had a conversation with that very city councillor when I was in Toronto doing some work at Queen's Park 2 weeks ago, and we talked a little bit about other relative issues. This is one of them. Stunt racing in Toronto, stunt racing in Barhaven, like it's endemic across the province, and we do need to do things in order to stem it.
Christy Cameron is here with more. Christy, I didn't realize it's still such a big problem, but clearly from this councillor, it would be in his neighborhood.
And clearly, Councillor David Hill, who joined me in studio today, is drawing inspiration from the City of Toronto. This is a real conversation that's happening there right now. He's been in touch with the city councillor there that's pushing it forward. He's sick and tired of hearing people that are drag racing or, rushing through the neighborhood at night, squealing tires, mufflers, whatever the case may be. And he wants to catch drivers that are making excessive noise. I want to be abundantly clear. In the same way that the province just took away the speed cameras, they'd have to give cities the permission to do this. So the province has yet to sign on. It's unclear if they would give these sound cameras the okay. And there's a lot of logistical questions. How much would they cost? Is there one? Are there two? Do we move them around? Where do they go? And how would the police deal with this? This would take time and resources. For example, if they're getting photos of cars that are not muffler compliant, do they really have the time to actually sift through that? Does it turn into a heap of work for them?
And it sounds costly, maybe even having to set up an independent office to be reviewing everything captured on these cameras.
That being said, you should have heard the number of people that were calling into the show today and texting in. We had a lot of feedback on this, and I would say 95% of people that were texting were saying, do it.
Oh, they're all for it.
They get woken up at night, or their kids get woken up, or their dogs are scared. So they're kind of peeved about this.
Yeah, certainly. Imagine that with a newborn baby. Thank you, Christy.
Oh, my gosh.
You can join the conversation and leave a comment through the Talkback feature on the iHeartRadio app. You can listen live to Christy Cameron on News Talk 580 CFRA weekdays from 2 to 6. And now watch Christy's segments anytime on YouTube. Subscribe to the News Talk 580 CFRA channel.
I want the Owen Sound Attack to be recognized as one of the premier development organizations in Canadian junior hockey, period.
Coming up on CTV News at 5, an Ottawa-born OHL hockey coach skating into the history books. We'll have details on that a little later. Coming up tonight on CTV after the 6 o'clock news, Next Level Chef starts at 7, then 2 episodes back-to-back of Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage start at 8, at 9, Fear Factor House of Fear, and at 10, Traders Canada before the late edition of National News. Now for another check on the weather forecast, Jackie's joining us live in studio tonight. Jackie, how are things looking?
Well, Stefan, you definitely don't want to wear shorts today or basically the last few days. It's been quite chilly, even though we had that long weekend warm up, and the cold front will remain for the next several days. Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass sky cam. No, it's not as windy as it was yesterday, but you can see that camera moving slightly. So we've still got strong winds moving in. It's about 15 degrees, but despite this and the cooler temperatures, we've got lots of sunny skies moving through, and this will continue into tomorrow. That's the good news. No precipitation in sight for our Friday, but those temperatures, yes, quite cool. 5 degrees to start things off. About 5 a.m. Tomorrow morning, it will be around the freezing mark. We are warming up to about 16 degrees. This will be around the noon hour before things start to cool off for the evening, but the winds will be much calmer than what we have seen the last few days. Now, in the valley, again, freezing mark is what we are anticipating for our overnight. 19 and sunshine for tomorrow's daytime highs. In the Seaway, very similar, slightly warmer for the overnight. 3 degrees, 18 and sunshine is what's anticipated as well for tomorrow. Now, here is a look at our 5-day forecast and into our weekend, where yes, it is Ottawa race weekend. It's much cooler temperatures than we have seen in previous years. 18 for our Saturday, 14 for Sunday. But here's the thing, Saturday overnight into Sunday, we are anticipating rain. So yes, Sunday early morning around race time, we are anticipating 10 to 15 millimeters of rain moving through well into the noon hour. It should clear up by Sunday afternoon, but it is going to be quite cool. Daytime high 14 degrees. Things will start to warm up by Monday and Tuesday, where temperatures are going to be in the low 20s.
Weather is brought to you by Manotick Tree. Complete tree care from start to stump.
So I know, Stefan, we have a lot of plans this weekend. There's a great Glebe garage sale. We've got race weekend. Unfortunately, we are going to see the return for some rain moving in.
But it won't stop the folks that want to participate in those events. Thank you, Jackie. Here's a look at the stories you're checking out right now on CTV News Ottawa.ca. If you go to our homepage currently, right in the top 6 stories or so, you'll notice that the Ontario Provincial Police are looking for your help. There's a situation on the Queensway earlier where there was a hit and run. They want to hear from you. It was around 1 o'clock in the eastbound lanes around Woodruff. A car would have struck a gray Jeep Cherokee, and they want witnesses to come forward as they search for the driver who allegedly fled the scene. Again, all the details online, ctvnewsottawa.ca.
And I'm committed to Michigan.
Coming up on CTV News at 5, a rising football star from Gatineau makes his pick after several American colleges show interest. Also, if you need gas tonight, one of today's cheapest gas prices can be found at the McEwen Station on Fallowfield Road in the Nepean area. Regular gas there tonight is going for 175.6 cents a liter. Also, here's another live check on traffic. That Pinecrest corridor not moving too well in either direction, although the westbound side is seeing a little bit more volume at this time. O'Connor is flowing well in both directions along the Queensway this hour, and Bronson is moving smoothly as well. You can see some hiccups starting to pick up in the westbound lanes around Bayswater and Parkdale. You're watching CTV News at 5. We'll be right back.
Get the latest live local breaking news. Sign up now for our morning and evening CTV News Ottawa newsletter. The best local content from CTV News, Your Morning Ottawa, and News Talk 580 CFRA. Get it all in one place. Sign up now at ctvnewsottawa.ca. The CTV News Ottawa newsletter is brought to you in part by CAA Business.
Here's another live look through our Centennial Glass sky cam. The temperature right now is 15 degrees. Looking really lush out there. Time now for a look ahead to CTV News at 6. Here's Patricia Bull.
Thanks, Steph. Here's what we're working on for 6 o'clock.
I think that with bringing more people back to the office and having to repair, you are creating an increased hazard.
As thousands of public servants prepare to spend more time in the office, concerns are being raised over asbestos in a downtown federal office building.
It's a reflection of the mindset we've lived through several generations at National Defence, which is without enough to go around, you get by with as much as you can get away with.
Canada's military is chronically short on gear, so much so that it's now asking personnel in the Ottawa region to return some of it. We'll have more on why the ask is coming now and what is in short supply.
I probably have 500 resumes on my desk at any given time, so there's a lot of demand for employment.
A new report finds major disconnects between Canadian youth looking for work and potential employers. And those differing views affect everything from the type of jobs young people are willing to take to the skills small businesses are prioritizing. All of that and more is coming up tonight on CTV News at 6. That's right after the early edition of CTV National News with Sandy Ronaldo at 5:30. Steph.
Thank you, Patricia. Now the final 5 other stories we're following today.
It was pretty hard, so I had to come with a plan for sure, like a top 10, top 8, top 5, and then it came down to Michigan, Miami, Tennessee, and Clemson. So it was pretty hard to make that choice.
After more than 3 dozen offers from American colleges, a rising football star from Gatineau has committed to the University of Michigan to pursue his football dreams. Sidney Rouleau is a 6'17" that currently attends high school in New Jersey. Rouleau and his family met with the offensive line coach from Michigan here in the capital today, looking ahead to his future.
I want the Owen Sound Attack to be recognized as one of the premier development organizations in Canadian junior hockey, period. I want to create an environment where players are pushed to reach their full potential.
Ottawa's Keenan Reynolds is the new head coach of the OHL's Owen Sound Attack. The 28-year-old is the youngest coach in league history. Reynolds played for the Attack and has coaching experience with minor hockey's Nepean Raiders. You will have a chance to see the FIFA World Cup trophy right here in the capital this weekend. The trophy tour presented by Coca-Cola stops at Lansdowne Park on Sunday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's your chance to see it ahead of the World Cup in Canada, the United States, and Mexico, which starts in less than a month from now. The tournament kicks off on June 11th. The federal government announced today the Canada Strong Pass will be back this summer between June 19th and September 7th. National museums in Ottawa and Gatineau will offer free admission for children 17 years and under, and 50% off for adults ages 18 to 24. Via Rail will also offer free trips for children 17 years old and younger when accompanied by an adult.
Headman's the puck. Shot. Score!
The Montreal Canadiens and Carolina Hurricanes will face off in the 3rd round of the Stanley Cup playoffs tonight. The Habs are coming off 2 straight 7-game battles against Tampa Bay and Buffalo to reach a conference final for the first time since 2021. The Habs are the only Canadian team remaining in the NHL playoffs. Puck drop is at 8 p.m. in Riley. That is CTV News at 5. I'm Stefan Keys. The early edition of CTV National News starts right now. Thanks for watching, everyone.